The Maldives embraced Islam, describing the milestone as a moment of deep historical and spiritual significance for the nation. He said the new year provides an opportunity for reflection, encouraging citizens to consider the contributions they can make, individually and collectively, towards national progress and the well-being of society. The President concluded by urging the public to renew their commitment to unity, responsibility and service in order to build a stronger and more prosperous future for the country. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu sends New Year's greetings to foreign heads of state and government, as well as to international organizations on behalf of the government and people of the Maldives. In separate messages to friendly nations, the President extended his best wishes to leaders and their governments and citizens, expressing confidence that the year ahead would bring renewed vision and open opportunities to further strengthen cooperation between countries and their peoples. President Muizzu also conveyed New Year greetings to the heads and staff of international organizations, emphasizing the importance of deepening working relationships and enhancing collective efforts within the multilateral system for the mutual benefit of member states. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu establishes the Maldives Zakat House to operate under the Ministry of Islamic Affairs in accordance with Article 11A of the Zakat Act. The move follows the implementation of the Zakat Act, under which the Zakat House that previously operated within the ministry has been formally dissolved and reconstituted under a new legal framework. The Zakat Act sets out a comprehensive system for the payment, administration and distribution of zakat in the Maldives in line with Islamic principles, with an emphasis on transparency and effective management of zakat funds. The legislation was passed by the People's Majlis and ratified by the President on 6 December 2025. It came into force on 1 January 2026. In a statement issued under Directive Number 01/2026, the President's office confirmed the formal establishment of the Maldives Zakat House under the provisions of the Act. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu establishes the Maldives Intellectual Property Office (MIPO) under Article 4A of the Maldives Intellectual Property Office Act. The new office will operate under the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, providing a national framework for the protection and promotion of intellectual property, particularly within the commercial sector. The legislation was passed by the People's Majlis and ratified by the President on 21 August 2025. It came into force on 1 January 2026. In a statement issued under Directive Number 02/2026, the President's office said all official correspondence addressed to the Maldives Intellectual Property Office must reference the number 1136. For Maldives, 2025 has been a landmark, marked by transformative developments across governance, economy, health, tourism, and international relations. The year began with the full implementation of the Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, the nation's first boost in bilateral trade with duty-free access to key markets. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu launched an unprecedented series of nationwide island visits, engaging local councils, launching development projects, and inaugurating the Bank of Maldives BML ATM project to ensure banking access in all islands. In a significant move toward financial inclusivity, the government raised the travel debit card limit for Umrah pilgrims to $1,750. The national carrier, Maldivian, welcomed its first wide-body A330 aircraft, enhancing air connectivity. A major police infrastructure expansion was initiated, with new stations set for 75 islands, while a historic generational tobacco ban was announced, prohibiting tobacco sales to anyone born after 2007. The Maldives established its first-ever embassy in Turkey, signaling growing diplomatic outreach. On 9th May, the government launched Maldives 2.0, an ambitious digital transformation initiative aimed at modernizing public services and curbing corruption. Key infrastructure milestones included the opening of the new international terminal at Valana International Airport (VIA), capable of handling 7 million tourists annually, and the redeveloped Hanimadhu International Airport, set to boost northern tourism. The year also saw the launch of the Makkah Route Initiative, streamlining Hajj and Umrah travel, and the introduction of the Hiya Wahi Finance of Housing Scheme, offering 25-year, 5% Islamic Sharia-compliant loans. President Moise inaugurated the first airport in Mimu Atoll and a new patriotic youth service, while historic diplomatic visits from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sri Lankan President Anuradhkumara Dissanayake strengthened regional ties. In social welfare, the Hafiz allowance was increased to $259.40, and the basic food import list was expanded to include fresh produce. Attu City saw administrative changes after a referendum led to the separation of Hurutu and Midu Islands from the city council. The year also saw Segment 1 of the Borutakuru-Fano-Magu expansion inauguration, marking progress in the infrastructure project awarded to the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC. The newly widened 130-meter stretch near the Shahid Hussein Adam building features modern drainage systems and improved road canals. National ID card printing services was launched for Maldivians living in Sri Lanka, enabling citizens to obtain identification cards through the Maldives High Commission. Following Sri Lanka, Malaysia, the service is set to expand to the UK, streamlining documentation for the Maldivian diaspora. The year concluded on a humanitarian note, with PSM's Maldivians with Ceylon telethon raising over $800,000 for flood-stricken Sri Lanka. Maldives was named World's Most Popular Destination 2025, remains a defining year of progress, innovation and national renewal for the Maldives. The Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company, MIFCO, disbursed $60 million to fishermen by the end of the year 2025. According to MIFCO, in line with President Dr. Mohamed Moiso's pledge to ensure settlement within 48 hours of sales to the state-owned company, the number of fishing vessels in the country has accelerated last year, strengthening the industry's overall capacity. According to MIFCO's figures, over 58,000 tons of fish have been purchased in 2025, and payments of up to $60,056,158.96 has been disbursed to fishermen in payouts, leading to increased confidence among fishermen. February 2025 was recorded to have the highest payout, with $8.9 million expended for pay to fishermen. Last year saw major reforms to the fishing sector announced and implemented by the government. Previously, MIFCO's maximum fish purchase rate was $1.03 for 1.5 kg and above. However, the policy has been amended such that $1.03 is now the minimum rate at which fish are purchased. On fuel prices, speaking on fuel prices, a reduction by 3.3 cents per liter for fishing vessels and by 4.6 cents for fishing vessels with a catch over 3 tons was implemented. These reductions are expected to save fishermen around $65 from their current fuel purchasing prices. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to addressing key challenges within the fisheries sector over the next 3 years. Officials said plans are underway to double storage capacity and expand processing facilities, measures viewed as essential to diversifying the industry and reinforcing fisheries as a major contributor to national revenue. Government opens applications for financial support to thalassemia patients in line with President Dr. Mohamed Moiso's pledge. President Dr. Mohamed Moiso announced that the directive to provide a special allowance to thalassemia patients in October 2025. In line with this directive, Maldives' National Social Protection Agency (NSPA) designed a regulation to facilitate the implementation of this pledge. As per the regulation, the allowance will be provided to all patients registered under the National Registry of Thalassemia Patients, managed by the Thalassemia and Other Hemoglobinopathy Center. And according to this law, all registered patients who submit their applications are eligible for financial support of $130 per month. The regulation also stipulates the conditions for the release of the payment. As per it, request for the allowance must be requested through an application, and once it is approved, payments will be disbursed from the next month onwards. The regulation also mandates that the Thalassemia Center must keep the National Registry updated. The registry must include important information pertaining to the patients, including patient's general information, type of thalassemia carrier, treatment category, medical statements regarding the treatment of the patients, and details of these treatments. The regulation delineates the specific circumstances under which the disbursement of the allowance shall be continued or reinstated. Accordingly, the allowance will be terminated if the Thalassemia Center determines, in accordance with contemporary medical standards, that the recipient no longer requires further treatment. Furthermore, the allowance will cease upon the demise of the recipient or if a formal written request is submitted expressing the desire to waive the allowance. The allowance will be reinstated if the Thalassemia Center determines that a child who had previously transitioned to a stable condition not requiring treatment has returned to a medical state that necessitates further clinical care based on established health standards. The government is committed to strengthening the healthcare system for thalassemia patients and ensuring a supportive environment that enables them to lead fulfilling lives within the community. As part of these efforts, the government has expanded thalassemia services within the Greater Male region, with services now being provided at Orange Hia in Hulumale under the management of the Male City Group of Hospitals. Additionally, initiatives are currently underway for the development of a specialized hospital dedicated to thalassemia treatment. Maldives' ambassador to China, Dr. Fazil Najib, highlights the significant economic opportunities available to Maldivian businesses through the Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, FTA. Speaking on PSM News' Raj Jamil the program, Ambassador Fazil emphasized the strong bilateral relationship between the two nations and called for deeper collaboration between the Maldivian and Chinese private sectors. He stressed the importance of Maldivian entrepreneurs uniting to attract Chinese foreign direct investment, FDI, which he said would greatly benefit the local economy. As a former governor of the Maldives Monetary Authority and an experienced economist, Ambassador Fazil noted that China has made major advancements in the service sector and Maldives should fully leverage the FTA to boost trade and investment. He pointed to potential areas of cooperation such as importing agricultural products, adopting Chinese technology for local production, and capitalizing on Maldives' world-class tourism industry as a ready-made market. The ambassador also underscored the FTA's positive impact on the fisheries sector, enabling Maldivian exports to access one of the world's largest consumer markets and enhancing foreign exchange earnings. With the agreement now in implementation, Maldivian service providers have gained greater access to China, while the nation becomes increasingly attractive to Chinese investors. According to data from the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, MOTE, 218,650 tourist arrivals were recorded in December, the highest figure in 1 month. This tops the previously held record of 217,393 travelers in February 2024. Apart from December, the greatest number of tourists visited the country in the first 3 months. January 214,863, February 214,091, and March 203,468. The 218,650 in December shows tourist arrivals up until the 30th of the month, with the 31st included expected to further increase figures. Maldives saw a 9.8% increase in tourists in 2025 compared to the previous year, with over 2.24 million arrivals in total. Travelers from China dominated the market in 2025 with over 300,000 arrivals, while over 200,000 were from Russia and the United Kingdom, UK. Meanwhile, Maldives Airports Company Limited (MACL) has welcomed the first tourists of 2026 at Terminal 1 of Valana International Airport (VIA) today. The first passenger arrival was Thomas Andreas Hellberger, a German citizen who arrived in the Maldives via Etihad Airways. He stated that this was his first visit to the Maldives. Wall Street's major indexes ends lower in the final trading session of 2025, but notched big annual gains after a roller coaster year dominated by President Donald Trump's tariff uncertainties and a euphoria around AI-focused stocks. The S&P 500, Dow and Nasdaq posted double-digit gains this year, their third consecutive year in the green, a run last seen during 2019 to 2021. The Dow also posted its eighth straight monthly gain, the longest such streak since 2017 to 2018. The rally was bolstered by an insatiable appetite for artificial intelligence stocks that pushed all three indexes to record highs this year. According to preliminary data, the S&P 500 lost 50.37 points to end at 6,847.18 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 178.03 points to 23,241.05. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 301.95 points to 48,065.11. On the day, energy stocks and tech stocks slipped. Microsoft, which has been among the biggest weights on the sector, was down, and EQT Corp fell sharply. Wall Street made a stellar comeback from April's lows when Trump's Liberation Day tariff sparked a meltdown in global markets, sent investors away from the U.S. stocks, and threatened growth by clouding the interest rate outlook. According to the Stock Traders Almanac, Wall Street's fourth consecutive session of losses defied expectations for a Santa Claus rally, in which the S&P 500 typically gains over the last 5 trading days of December and the first 2 in January. Bellwether chipmaker Nvidia, up sharply year-to-date, has been one of the many AI trade beneficiaries, becoming the first publicly traded company to hit a $5 trillion market capitalization. The Communication Services Index emerged as the top performer on the S&P 500 this year, powered by a big jump in Alphabet. As Wednesday turned to Thursday, people around the world said goodbye to a sometimes challenging 2025 and expressed hopes for the new year to come. Midnight arrived first on the islands closest to the international date line in the Pacific Ocean, including Kiritimati, Tonga, and New Zealand. One of the last centers to greet the new year was New York, where revelers celebrated in sub-zero temperatures, and those in Times Square watched the traditional ball drop at midnight. In Australia, Sydney began 2026 with a spectacular fireworks display as per tradition. Some 40,000 pyrotechnic effects stretched 7 kilometers across buildings and barges in its harbour and featured a waterfall effect from the Sydney Harbour Bridge. In Seoul, thousands gathered at the Bosinggak Bell Pavilion, where a bronze bell was struck 33 times at midnight. An hour to the west, there was celebrations and a drum performance at the Juyong Pass at the Great Wall of China just outside Beijing. Revelers wore headgear and waved boards emblazoned with 2026 and the symbol of a horse. February will mark the arrival of the Year of the Horse on the Chinese lunar calendar. In Hong Kong, the annual New Year's fireworks display was called off after the apartment complex blaze in November that killed 161 people. Instead, a light show with the theme of New Hopes, New Beginnings transformed facades in the Central District. In Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, locals welcomed in the new year in warmer weather with a music and fireworks party known as Revelon. Organizers were hoping to beat their 2024 Guinness World Record for the biggest New Year's Eve celebration. International Olympic President IOC Christy Coventry thanks the entire Olympic community for the support she has received during her first months in office. In a New Year's Day message, Coventry highlighted the Olympic Winter Games Milano Cortina 2026, noting that the Games will bring together the best winter sport athletes in Bella Italia.
Dear Olympic friends, as we welcome a new year, I want to thank you, the entire Olympic community, for the incredible support and encouragement you've given me during my first months as IOC president. Over these 6 months, I've had the privilege of meeting many of you, listening, learning, and feeling the energy that drives our Olympic movement. Your passion and commitment inspire me every day.
She described Milano Cortina as a new kind of winter games where innovation meets tradition, gender equality reaches new heights, and iconic landscapes provide the perfect stage. The president also looked ahead to the Summer Youth Olympic Games Dakar 2026, the first Olympic event on African soil. Nearly 1 in every 10 retail items that are returned for a refund in the United States is fraudulent, a $76.5 billion problem for the country's retailers that a unit of delivery giant UPS says it plans to combat with artificial intelligence. Happy Return said its AI fraud detection tool starts working the moment a shopper initiates a return online. It flags things like returns initiated before or shortly after an item is delivered, entries from shoppers that have multiple linked email addresses, and returns from individuals involved in previous suspicious activity. Workers at drop-off points have access to photos of the items that are supposed to be returned when they scan the unwanted goods into the Happy Return system. They can reject obvious mismatches. Once the returns reach the Happy Returns hubs in California, Pennsylvania, and Mississippi, human auditors open the flagged packages. They take photos which are then fed back into the AI tool, which compares them to images and other information about the goods expected in the return, the company said. Human teams then review the AI assessment and make the final call. Less than 1% of returns in the Happy Returns network are flagged by the tool as high risk, and about 10% of those flagged items are ultimately confirmed as fraud, the company said. The average value of each fraud is around $261. Happy Returns Chief Operating Officer Juan Hernandez Campos said the tool was becoming increasingly important as fraudsters become more sophisticated. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.